Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. So this video is the second video of the 5-part series. So this video will explain to you on the learning objective number 1 to describe the organization's purchase application software, vendor services and the hardware. So in the purchasing software, so this is another alternative that the companies have if they want to replace the current system. Okay, so in the purchasing software, there are several types of the software package. So the first one, they call it as the commercial software. So this is also known as the off-the-shelf software. So the software will be written by the software development company, and then they will sold the software in the open market to the broad range of the users with the similar requirements. But the major problem with this type of commercial software is that it often does not meet all the company's information or data processing needs. So how to overcome this problem? Normally the companies will modify the software based on their needs. Okay, and then other than that, they call the turnkey system. Okay, so turnkey system is the software and hardware that sell together by the development companies as a package. Okay, so they call it as the turnkey system. And then the next one is the software as a service providers, or ASP. So this kind of purchasing software, the companies, they can rent. Okay, they can rent the software from the ASP, from the service provider, and then the service provider, the development companies, they will deliver the software over the internet, or also they can base on cloud-based software application. So the companies, they just rent the software. Okay, and then one advantage of this kind of software, the companies do not have to worry about the software upgrading. They just can focus on their core business, and in that case they can reduce the software cost and also the administrative overhead. Okay, and then for the companies who want to purchase the software, they also need to follow the normal system development life cycle, except during the conceptual system design, they need to decide whether they want to make or buy the software or system. Okay, and then other than that, when they use the purchase software, they can omit the physical design stage, and also can omit the implementation and conversion step or stage. Okay, the one thing important under this purchasing software is related to the vendor. Okay, so the vendor, the development companies. So this is the steps that involved during the software acquisition. So the first one, the companies need to select the vendor. Okay, so decision to make or purchase software can be made independently of the decision to acquire hardware, service maintenance or other AIS resources. So where they can find the vendor, they can find the vendor by referral, or they can attend any conferences, okay, that have showcased by the vendor. The vendor do the presentation or showcase their software or system in the conference. Okay, and also they can find in the industry magazine or on the internet. Okay, but one thing for sure, the companies need to choose carefully the vendor. Okay, because the vendor with the little experience, insufficient capital or a poor product can give a problem to the companies later on. Okay, so they need to carefully, okay, choose the vendor. Okay, the second process is the companies, okay, they will send the vendor the request for proposal, RFP, request for proposal. So which is in this RFP, they will invite the companies, the vendor, to propose the system, okay, that meets their company's needs. Okay, to meet the company's needs by the specified date. The importance of this RFP actually when they follow this process, okay, they can save time, okay, because they can have a same template for the same information provided by the vendor, so they can eliminate any repetitive interview or any questions, repetitive questions. Okay, and then the second reasons, okay, why they need to have RFP, they can simplify the decision making process because all the responses are in the same format and based on the same information. Okay, so they can do better decision to compare between one vendor to another vendor. Okay, and then they can reduce error. The chances for any overlooking important factors can be reduced and also can avoid potential for disagreement. Okay, so what's important here when they want to request the proposal from the companies, okay, the companies, okay, they need to give information to the company's provider, to the vendor, okay. More information a company provides to the vendor, the better the company's chances of receiving the system that meets the requirements. Okay, so the vendor knows what are the company's needs so that they can propose a system that meets the company's requirement. Alright, the third step, okay, when the companies okay, send the RFP just now, they will evaluate the proposal, okay, the RFP, and then they will select the system. Okay, so proposal that are missing important information, fail to meet minimum requirements or any ambiguous, so will be eliminated. So they will do screening on the proposal, so any missing information in the RFP or any minimum requirements, they will put aside and then they will eliminate those proposals. Okay, so proposal that pass this preliminary screening, they will carefully compare with the proposed ARS requirement. Okay, so they will compare with the company's requirement, what the vendor proposed in the RFP. Okay, so under this comparison, they will determine if the proposal meet all the mandatory requirements and then how many of the desirable requirements they meet. Okay, so you can refer table 23.1. Table 23.1 is related to the hardware, software and vendor evaluation criteria. Okay, so under table 23.1, okay, that lists down all the hardware evaluations criteria, software evaluation criteria, the vendor evaluation criteria. So the companies can use this criteria to evaluate or to see the vendors, to validate the vendor's claim. Okay, so after the preliminary screening had been done by the company, they will invite the top vendors to give demonstration on how their system will fit the needs. Okay, so there are three ways actually to compare the system performance. Okay, so they can use benchmark problem, point scoring, and the third way they can use requirements costing. Okay, so first benchmark problem. Under benchmark scoring, benchmark problem, okay, the companies will compare system by the executing and input, processing and output tasks on different computer system, and the company will evaluate the result. Okay, another approach is the point scoring. So point scoring, you can refer table 23.2. The illustration is under table 23.2. Okay, under point scoring, the companies will evaluate the overall merits of the vendor proposal by assigning a weight to each evaluation criteria based on its importance. So under this point scoring, the vendor are given scoring based on how well their proposal meet the requirements. Okay, and then the companies will total off the weightage scoring, and then they will do compare between one vendor to another vendor, and then they will select the highest score. Okay, the next approach is requirement costing. So requirement costing, they will estimate the cost of the purchasing or developing features that are not present in the particular AIS. Okay, so those are the three ways how the companies can compare the system performance that being claimed by the vendor. However, which ways or approach that the companies can use is based on the company's requirement. Okay, so once the best system or AIS has been identified, okay, the software should be thoroughly test driven, right? So they need to do the test on the software that they choose. All right, so that's end of the learning objective number 1. Okay, so I end this video explaining about the learning objective number 1. So I will see you on the next video that explain on the learning objective number 2.